Governments love to spread the idea that they work for your financial freedom. They speak of stability, growth, and opportunity. But look a little closer at history, and you'll see something much darker. Governments have always built hidden financial traps, designed not to empower the people, but to concentrate wealth and control in their own hands. And the incredible thing is, these traps aren't new. They've just been redesigned through the centuries, given new names, but always used for the same purpose, to move money upward and make the public dependent. Let's begin with the oldest and simplest trap, inflation. When a government spends more than it can collect in taxes, it has two choices: either admit the truth and raise taxes, which is politically suicidal, or quietly destroy the value of its currency, making every coin and bill in circulation worth less. Ancient Rome mastered this trick. In the 3rd century AD, as military spending skyrocketed, emperors began debasing the denarius, the Roman silver coin. What began as pure silver ended as nearly pure copper, with only a thin silver sheen left on the surface. The empire ignored it, but the people holding those coins suffered. Inflation soared, money lost its worth, wages couldn't buy food anymore. It was a hidden tax. And today, that same tactic is used not by imperial mints, but by modern central banks. In the Middle Ages, the game evolved. Forced loans. Kings of England, France, and Spain borrowed money from wealthy merchants and guilds for the crown. Refusing could mean fines, confiscation, even death. Sometimes repayment was promised, late, in worthless currency, or never at all. The rulers maintained their wars and luxuries. The people lost their savings. And the manipulation worked because it was dressed up as patriotism and duty. That disguise worked for centuries. By the 17th century, the entire financial system had become the trap itself. When the Bank of England was founded in 1694, it wasn't created for the people. It was built to fund England's wars against France. Wealthy investors bought government bonds. In return, the government guaranteed them interest paid out of taxes collected go to the same elite few. Then come the bailouts. In 2008, financial banks took reckless risks, bundled bad mortgages into securities, and nearly destroyed the global economy. Who paid the price? Ordinary taxpayers through massive rescue packages. Who benefited? The same banks.
Who benefited? The same banks, now even bigger and stronger. Private profits, public losses. The scam was simple. Gains are privatized, losses socialized. and the people were told it was necessary to save the system. Pensions are another elegant trap. For decades, people have paid into state-controlled retirement funds, trusting that their money will be there in old age. But governments don't save that money, they spend it and replace it with IOUs. Future taxpayers, the unborn, are expected to fill the gap. It's a Ponzi scheme, wrapped in bureaucratic language. And when the system can no longer sustain itself, governments reform it, raising retirement ages, cutting benefits, or letting inflation quietly eat away its value. At every turn, the pattern repeats. Language hides the truth. Inflation is called growth. Forced loans become patriotism. National debt becomes investment in the future. Bailouts are stabilization. Pension cuts are reforms. Words are weapons, used to mask the flow of wealth upward. And the deception works because people don't study economic history. They don't think about how the system functions until it's too late. In recent decades, the tricks have only grown more sophisticated. After 2000,
Money. Confusion is the perfect disguise. If you can't see the transfer, you can't resist it. In ancient Rome,
You could hold a coin and feel its deceit in your hand. Today, it's buried in balance sheets and acronyms. The trick is the same. Make it too complex to grasp and keep the extraction going. Why does it matter now? Because these traps are still operating, only updated. Inflation keeps eroding savings. Debt grows endlessly. Bailouts remain the go-to solution. Central banks still manipulate the money supply.
While governments pass costs on to the public in forms so indirect, most people never connect the dots. The result is a system designed to keep you working harder for less real wealth, while the financial elite grows stronger. The lesson from history is not just that these tricks exist, but that they always return. When Rome debased its coins, citizens suffered. When monarchs forced loans, merchants lost fortunes. When modern states inflate and borrow, households bear the burden. Different ages, same mechanism. And here is the harsh truth. Most people will never escape these tricks because they don't even realize they're being played. They take inflation as natural, taxes as inevitable, and bailouts as acts of mercy. They believe government messaging instead of studying economic history. And that ignorance is the most powerful trick of all. When people forget the past, they cannot recognize its repetition. That is why governments and elites prefer a public uneducated in finance. Financial education is resistance. Economic history is a weapon. If you know the tricks, you are harder to manipulate. So what should you take away? First, always look beyond the headline. When governments announce stimulus, ask who profits first. When inflation rises, remember it is not just bad luck, it is policy. When regulations appear, ask who wrote them and who benefits. Second, build real wealth outside the traps. Assets that can hold value even when currency does not. Third, never assume the system works for you just because it says it does. Systems exist to protect themselves, not you. History doesn't repeat, but if you don't understand it, it will crush you all the same. The financial tricks that kept Roman citizens broke are the same ones draining your bank account today, only dressed in modern language. The only difference is whether you recognize them in time.
If this gave you a new way to look at the world, subscribe, because the answers are in history, and I'll show you where to find them.